The next question is a video. It's from Tracy Donoghue in Port Vila, Vanuatu.
I was a teacher at the Nauru Regional Processing Centre until November last year. Incident reports that I wrote recounting events that I witnessed are amongst the leaked Nauru files. I witnessed death threats made to my students by local guards. I witnessed a very large guard lift and throw a student with force into the ground and a metal rail. I witnessed the daily verbal abuse and taunts that my students endured. I witnessed the appalling treatment of rape victims, and I witnessed countless injuries sustained by refugees and asylum seekers from assaults in the community. The government has again attempted to absolve itself of responsibility by claiming that the well-being and safety of those on Nauru is a matter for the government of Nauru. What do you think is the responsibility that the Australian government has for the refugees and asylum seekers on Nauru?
Mitch Fifield, we'll start with you.
Well, Nauru is a sovereign state. We have to recognise that the laws of that country operate and we have to abide by them. But the laws of that country are harsh as Australia's are when there are cases of abuse, when there are cases of assault. And it's important that mandatory reporting of incidents, as our questioner indicated, she had completed incident reports. They've got to be done and they've got to be fully investigated. And Peter Dutton, when there was the public release of some of these incident reports, made clear that his department was going to identify those that had already been addressed and assessed, those that had not, and also he made clear that there are some incident reports which are without foundation.
So just to confirm, are you saying that it is not the Australian government's responsibility to do anything about it, but it is the responsibility to investigate these incidents?
Well, it's a shared responsibility.
So it is a shared responsibility. So we have some responsibility for what happens on Nauru, is that right?
Oh, well, there wouldn't be incident reports. There wouldn't be incident reports filed if they weren't for the purpose of being investigated.
Now, the Immigration Minister you just mentioned, Peter Dutton, has accused The Guardian and the ABC of trivialising very serious issues. You're the Minister in charge of the ABC. Do you think that's true?
Well, I don't provide a running commentary on all of my colleagues and
I'm
the views
asking for your opinion
and the
on
views,
the ABC's reporting of these issues.
Yeah, let me finish. And the views that they put forward about any media organisation. I mean, let me make it clear, and this will please Michelle Guthrie, I'm sure. I'm not the ABC's editor-in-chief. My job is to fund the ABC, to appoint the board members, and on occasion to represent the community view to the ABC about the work that they do. Now, the ABC has legislated independence, and what that means is that if I say something or Peter Dutton says something, that doesn't impinge upon the independence of the ABC. But I should have the right, and Peter Dutton should have the right, and every member of Parliament should have the right to offer a view as to what they think of the ABC coverage on particular issues.
I'll pass on to the panellists in a moment, but do you even acknowledge the possibility that it could be something systematically wrong with the offshore detention centre in which the sort of incidents mentioned there happen to young children?
Look, I don't think there is anything systematically wrong with the system of offshore detention. And I'm sure that that is a bipartisan view, because it's actually the Australian Labor Party, after systematically dismantling offshore detention when they came into office in 2013, who then, in the face of overwhelming evidence, reintroduced offshore processing, because they recognised that the best way to stop deaths at sea was to remove the product that the people smugglers sold, and that is, if you come by boat, you won't be settled in Australia.
All right, Catherine King.